guess I could quickly say the new Mac Miller album is incredible.
Oh, the
Lunarism.
Is it posthumous or posthumous?
Posthumous, I think, is how you say that.
Yeah.
But it's not really posthumous because he made it in 2014. It just got shelved. And I guess it was like something that was really important to his mom, and his family handles his estate now. And they've like always made a point since the time he died to say that they're going to handle all the music that he has left with care and respect. They're not going to put out demos and shit like that. And this is an album that he completed in 2014, but he had so many other projects going on at the time that it ended up getting like put to the side, and he passed away like 4 years later. So this was made in 2014. Thundercat is on the whole thing playing bass. His brother Ronald is playing drums on it. Like, it's awesome music. Like, from a production standpoint, I think it might be my favorite. And I've only heard it one time, so
okay.
It's a little hard to do like one listen, call it my favorite Mac Miller project. But dude, it's really, really strong. Yeah, it kind of like, I mean, it's hip hop for sure, but like there's like a lot of like jazzy instrumentation and stuff on it that's really cool. You're like, this is refreshing, actually.
Yeah, I've found there's quite a bit of jazz in Mac Miller music. I haven't dived into his whole catalog. Not the biggest fan, but as the years go by, I feel like I'm becoming more and more of a fan. That it'll probably come a time where I'm just like, let's dive into everything.
I was definitely a late bloomer. I didn't like him when he first came out. His first couple projects I thought were real corny, and then he kept putting stuff out, and then like around the Good AM, watching TV with the sound off, like 2013, 14. I'm like, all right, I'm starting to mess with this. And then he put out like this album called The Divine Feminine, where it was like almost like an R&B hip hop album. And I'm like, dude, this guy's talented, man. Like, because I found out he's producing a lot of this stuff and playing all these instruments. And I'm like, I'm starting to really become a fan of this guy. And then, like, it was so sad to me when he died, because that's when like my fandom was in full gear. When Swimming came out in 2018, I'm like, this is an awesome, awesome project. Me and E-Man were like psyched because we were going to go see him on tour. He had announced the tour and everything, and then he passed away. And I'm like, man.
Dang.
So crazy.
Yeah. Dude, that's how I felt with Norm Macdonald. Like, I was always a fan. And then the past, I would say 3 or 4 years of his life, I was starting to come around to being like, this dude might be the GOAT. He's so funny. I just never fully got it. It never clicked. Yeah. I just always thought he was pretty funny. And then he passed away, and then now I'm just like, man, I wish I would have gotten it a decade ago, 2 decades ago, because for me, Norm is like my fucking idol. Like, I love Norm.
I watched some kind of special out of it must have been something after he passed away where they were just talking about how much he loved comedy, and like it was so ingrained in him that like he would bomb on purpose because it was entertaining to himself. Like the whole roast of, was it Bob Saget or something, where it was just like the worst. And like he was bombing on purpose. Like he was doing that on purpose, like because it was entertaining to him. And like, and then you watch like after he died, so many clips of him on different talk shows started coming up. And I'm like, he was a brilliant guest on talk shows, like on Conan and like all these other like different shows. He would have such hilarious little anecdotes to offer. Yeah, he was the GOAT, man. He was really, really funny.
Yeah, he goes, Bob, you got the face of a flower. Yeah, a cauliflower. Just like terrible jokes throughout the whole thing. And then there was one time where the whole bit was that like he had heard that you're not allowed to say the R word anymore. So he thought it was better to say Down syndrome instead. Like, yeah, that guy's probably got Down syndrome. And then he found out that was problematic. So like he was under all this fire. He went on The View and they were like, don't you think you should apologize for this? And then he had mints. And he was just like, yeah, I feel really bad about that. I made a big mistake. And every time he was like bullshitting, he popped a mint just because he thought he was funny to himself. Like, of course he's fucking with you people on The View, but that was just.
And I think that's like a lot of like the comics that are like really, really, really about it. Like that's like really how they operate their days, is like entertaining themselves and trying to make themselves laugh. Like